flow, 45 minutes to get our bodies up and moving. Today's practice is going to involve a strap. So those of you who've just joined us, if you own a yoga strap, great. If you don't, a necktie, a scarf, a kitchen towel, anything like that, go grab that real quick and then hop back on your mat. We are going to start on our backs today, but we're not going to be there for very long. We're going to get up and do more of a standing warm up once we kind of get settled into the earth. So feel free to head back to your mat and literally put your back on your mat. Go ahead and lay down and get comfortable. The first opening moments of every yoga practice, we just set aside a little bit of time here to let the back feel relaxed, comfortable, easy down into the earth. And we start to make some connection with our breath. Maybe it feels good to close your eyes, bring your hands to let them rest on your belly or even just comfortably out to the side. Some like to even stretch their arms long up overhead. Whatever feels good to you as you rest easy here on the earth. Today's opening reading is entitled, "Integrity is what you do when no one is looking." To practice yoga, telling the truth is not enough. By not lying to yourself about one important thing in your life. To practice yoga, telling the truth is not enough. Integrity is what you do when no one is looking. So these online classes kind of give you that space to not necessarily worry about what everyone else is doing or what they see you doing. Today, I'd like you to practice having some integrity in your practice, knowing how to move freely within your body and to take your time. So I'm just going to relax back onto my back now to join you. If your legs have been long, let's go ahead and bend the knees. Walk the feet up the mat so that your knees are facing up towards the sky. And then just drop your hands down onto either side of those hips. Your feet are in 2 straight lines down the mat. As you inhale, lift your hips up off the floor. Take your first bridge pose this morning. Let the back of your head rest into the earth. It might even feel nice to kind of let your head sway a little side to side. But keep those shoulders strong and focused into the ground. Gently let your back slowly lower back down towards the earth. That was kind of a big shape to start with, so hopefully you didn't lift too high there. Let your feet come up off the ground, come in towards your belly, and then just place the feet back on the earth. Lift the hips, bridge. Exhale, take your time, lower that back down once the hips and everything settles into the earth. Lift those knees, bring them in towards your belly. And then just drop them back down one more time, lift the hips. Exhale, easy drop back down. And then we'll take our time, bring the knees in towards the chest. All right, keep those knees in. Go ahead and invite your hands to come to the front to the shins. Give it a nice hug here. And then just elevate the feet up towards the sky. Maybe your hands even switch to the backs of your legs. We're going to reach our hands up overhead, and then I just want you to pretend to kind of march on the ceiling. So nothing big here, just a little march. And this march can be slow or a little faster, deciding what feels good in your own body, concentrating on keeping those lowest abdominals, kind of pushing in towards the belly button, towards the spine. All right, beautiful. Go ahead and soften those knees, hug them in close. Give yourself just a little bit of movement right to left. And then we're gonna rock ourselves up to a seat. So find that seated posture. I'm gonna turn just because I wanna be able to see you better, but just find a tall spine. You can sit on a blanket, on a block or just flat to your mat. Hands reach out to the side. Inhale, lift both hands up. Right hand is going to fall down towards the earth and then reach over. Inhale, reach high, and then let's send it to the other side. Beautiful. Inhale, reach up and back to the original side. This time, take the hand that's in the sky and let it just tap just outside that knee. Feel a good stretch all along the back edge of your body. Inhale, reach it up, and then let's go again. Over to the other side, opposite hand comes and taps just outside that knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold right through the middle. Let your chest fall down towards your legs. Inhale, bring that spine back up, and then just hands are going to kind of cartwheel or backstroke. Back behind us, lift through the middle of the chest, heart opens towards the sky, maybe your chin even lifts. Perfect, big stretch. All right, friends, come out of that shape and start to graduate with me up to a tabletop position. So moving from your seat to build table. Take a moment, if you know you have sensitive knees, you can throw a blanket on your mat, you can put a towel on your mat, or if you're practicing on carpet, you may not need that. Wrists go right underneath shoulders, knees under hips, and you just take your time to rock this a little bit right and left. All right, belly drops down towards the mat. Inhale, breath, chin lift, tail lift. Exhale, breath, round the back, round the spine. This is just basic cat-cow. Those of you who've been practicing with me for a while, you're pretty familiar with this shape. I know Rosemary and Sarah and Holly all use this shape as well. Feel free to just continue to move easy in that cat-cow. Last one at your own pace. Next time you hit that angry cat spine, sit back onto your heels, hands walk towards the right edge of the mat, lean and reach. Hands walk back towards center, send them to the left end of the mat, lean and reach. And then bring this back to the middle of the mat. Let's go ahead and rock our hips forward, curl your toes under. First downward dog of this morning's practice, walk it out. Beautiful. Small steps with the feet, walking up to find your hands. Look for a set of blocks if you want them. Half lift, long spine. Exhale, fold. Good work. Inhale, reach. Let the hands go way up above the head. Even if mine disappear off the screen, I'm reaching above the head. Exhale out, take your cactus shape. Elbows come in and in front of the face. Bend the knees, sweep the hands back, sit in your chair. Inhale, stand up, 90 degrees. Exhale, sweep the hands back, sit in your chair. Inhale, stand up, 90 degrees. Let's do that one more time. Sit back. Feel those legs get strong. Bring the hands back up. Beautiful. Bringing hands down, let them find the fronts of your knees. Separate your feet about as wide as your hips, if they aren't already there. Belly moves through on your inhale, chin lift. Exhale, big rounded spine. Now I'm going to turn just so I can see a little easier, but we're just moving through a cat-cow, standing now. One more time. Perfect. Inhale, bring the hands up, reach overhead. Exhale, back out to that cactus. Inhale, elbows in front of the face. As you exhale, send the hands down and to the outside edge of that right knee. Inhale, bring this back up. And then exhale, bend the knees, reach to the outside of the other knee. Now that you know what we're doing, we're going to do that 2 more times. You should feel some strengthening in your legs. Quads are really being used. A little bit of twist through the belly. All right, inhale, bring those hands back to center. Bring your knees back. Maybe they get close enough now to touch. If not, there's just a little bit of space, maybe like a tennis ball space between your knees. This time, as you exhale to the side, see if you can bend deep enough to bring your elbow to touch that opposite knee. Inhale, stand back up. Now, if that was too big, just go back to what we were doing. But if you want to take a little more challenge, you're really sinking low, bringing that elbow to opposite knee. Inhale, stand back up, hands are at heart. Beautiful. Just let the hands come down, a little bit of shoulder movement. All right, perfect. Good work today. Reach opposite hand. So we're gonna opposite right hand. I haven't done the other side yet. Right hand lifts up, opposite hand. Left hand lays down, and we're just doing a side body stretch. So almost thinking about lifting everything tall until you get to about your shoulder, and then you see your body starting to move the opposite direction. Perfect. Bring that arm down now. Let's try the opposite arm. Everything grows tall first. And then from about shoulder over, we start thinking about lifting up and over to the other side. This is going to help get us more length out of these intercostal muscles, all that side body. Beautiful. Now bring that arm down. All right, let's go back to that same chair. So arms here, bend, sit. I'm going to do it with you again. Arms here, bend, and sit. Give yourself a little pinch between your upper back shoulder blades. One more time. This time when you sit back with those lightning bolts shooting behind you, stay there. Hold the shape. Exhale, bring your hands down to a set of blocks or to the floor. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Right foot is going to step back. Maybe even drop your right knee down to the ground. Put your toenails on that right foot on the earth. Maybe you even take a set of blocks onto your mat with you, and you lean into that front knee a little bit. Now, these poses are never one size fits all. So if this doesn't feel very good to you, come off of that. You don't have to lean so deep, especially if you're a little newer to yoga or just the flexibility just really isn't there today. It's okay. We're trying to find the integrity of the pose, right? What feels good to us even when we know no one's looking. All right, if it feels good to you, graduate. Take those hands up off the floor, off the blocks, bring them to your hips. Sit up a little taller, and then just sweep these hands up overhead. Relax the shoulders. Hands come in to find prayer. We tuck the hands behind the head. Nice stretch for the upper back, triceps, shoulder joints, integrity of the neck. With our head pulled tall to the sky, hands lift up. And then you're going to take those hands to the outer edge of that front knee, just like in that chair twist. You can be here or you can be here. If this is getting to be too much on that back knee, maybe you say, I'm going to strengthen. I'm going to pull this knee up, and you take your hands out without the knee on the ground. One more breath there. Perfect. Hands come back to center. Maybe they go to blocks, maybe not. Step the front foot back. Let's take downward facing dog. Down dog's going to shift from down dog to plank. And then down dog to plank. And hopefully you don't have to move your hands. We're trying to set ourselves up in an alignment-based practice where it doesn't necessarily have to move. We still feel like we're planted in the right spot. If you need to be on your knees, you can be shifting right here. Take about one or two more, really telling your body it's strong. Remind it, you can do this. Yeah, it's tough in the moment, but we're always stronger than we think we are. All right, my friends. Next time you're in down dog, stay there. Take gentle steps to walk your feet forward. Maybe find the set of blocks again, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your hands up tall. Exhale out to cactus. Elbows in front of the face. Exhale, sit. Now just kind of moving back and forth through that same lightning bolt movement here. Just keeping our knees active. Wow, that sun is so pretty today outside my window. Go ahead and bend the knees, stay in what looks like lightning bolt pose, and then fold. Keep breathing, my friends. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back, left knee hits the ground. Look for that set of blocks, just like you did last time. And just take your time here. How does this feel? Depending on what you did this weekend, or last week, last month, maybe it's been a while since you've stretched any of these muscles. This can feel great. This can feel like, ooh, that's a little tender. Just pay attention. See how you feel. Know what's too much and what's not enough. Our body is calling to be stretched. Yep. And even though we like the pace of a little fluid movement and flow, we do need to slow down sometimes, pause in a pose, and really let it sink in. All right, friends, bring your hands to your hips, just like you did before. Sit up a little taller and then sweep those hands up, relax the shoulders down. Hands come together, they make prayer, and they tuck behind our head. Holding here, paying attention to what happens to this hip flexor, see if you can keep that shape. Hands stand back up, and then there they go. They go to the outside of that front knee. Now, most of us just took prayer hands to the outer edge. Some of you brought that elbow all the way to the outer edge. Hopefully you're not doing this on a full belly of breakfast. If you are, you might need to soften those twists. They might be a little big on a full belly. If this back knee starts to feel a little tender, or maybe you just want to take it up a notch, you can always lift that back knee up off the ground, turn this into a little bit more strengthening and balance. Perfect. Just take your time to come out of that shape. Hands move down to blocks or the floor, and then we're back to that same down dog. Let's shift it back and forth to plank just a couple times, and then you'll get to do your first vinyasa. Now, remembering what plank pose is supposed to feel like, you're supposed to go strong through your arms, not your wrists. You should have a slight pull between your shoulder blades, lifting it up to the sky, length all the way through the backs of your heels and core engagement. All right, next time you're in plank, hang there, stay still. Drop your knees, bend your elbows so those triceps do the work, lower down, cobra pose, or walk the hands back for a big up dog. If that feels good in your body, stay in up dog for another breath. And then join me. Maybe your knees come down, you kind of curl your toes under, and then just lift up. Find that downward facing dog. All right, friends. Instead of walking feet to hands, this time just take your time. Walk your hands to your feet. Use your half lift, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. Look for that cactus shape again. Beautiful. And then just take a big step to the middle of your mat. Turn so you can see. And we're going to play with a little bit of balance. So as we move into these balance shapes, I want you to put a little bit of pressure into your right leg. Left knee lifts and crisscrosses over as we send this left arm underneath our right. We're looking for eagle pose. You can stop right here in something that looks like a karate chop. You can give yourself a hug, or you can try to bring hands to meet. These toes might come up off earth. Whatever version of eagle works for you today is perfectly fine with me. And if this is your first eagle today or ever, just focus on one part. First the legs, then see if you can give yourself a hug on the top. Hold. Beautiful. From your eagle, I want you to spread nice and wide. Turn yourself into an X shape. So if you're not turned sideways on your mat, maybe do so. Step really wide on your mat. Spread your arms out wide. My camera doesn't know what to do with the lighting today. If you're seeing me kind of like flickering on your screen, I'm sorry. I need to switch a setting, I think. All right, and then exhale and fold. It's not used to having this much natural light. It's been so gray and gloomy lately. Inhale, come up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach and lift back to that same X shape. Turn your heels slightly inward, and then you're just gonna pull elbows to the side body. Stand up, X, pull elbows in. So this is very similar to what we were doing from our chair to lightning bolt, that same kind of movement with the knees. We're just taking it a little wider now. Last one. Beautiful. Go back to your X. Hands come down, feet heel toe. This is important. See if you can do that with your feet. Let them heel toe. Lots of work for hip flexors, inner thighs, ankles, feet, all kinds of good work happening there. Opposite foot now becomes your standing foot. Crisscross. First, you notice I'm going above my knee if possible, then letting the opposite arm. So whatever leg is on top, that's your arm that goes under. Stop at that crisscross X or keep going. So you have wrapped your way into an eagle shape. And just hold. Knowing that the integrity for this shape for you might be coming and knowing you need a little bit of a wall help. You need a chair. You need to keep that toe on the ground. Or maybe you know you can push yourself a little further today. See if you can go for that. Lift that foot up off the floor. Test your balance. But also be forgiving. That practicing on carpet is different than a hard surface of a yoga room. So if you're not as steady as what you're seeing on the screen, know that I do have a pretty great surface to work with in here. All right, go ahead and let the arms open nice and wide. Go back to your X shape, turn sideways on your mat if you aren't already. And then we're just gonna soften these arms down. Bring your knees to a bend. And then I want you to reach your arms straight out in front. So let my arms just kind of look like they're laying right on top of one another. As I exhale, I'm gonna open my arms out, kind of a box shape, straight out to the sides. So I'm gonna reach and pull. If you need break, you can stand and then sit, or you can stay here. You decide. Switch which hand is on top now. Opposite hand goes on top, and then pull. Opposite hand on top, and then pull. On top, and then pull. One more time. All right, relax those legs, let them come up tall. Turn your right toes to face the outer edge of the mat, arms come out in T, bend that knee, just a simple warrior. Peaceful, lean away. Back to warrior two. Stand, switch out your feet, opposite foot turn, bend the knee. Peaceful. And then back to warrior. Back to center, turn that first foot out to the side again. We're gonna take triangle this time. Leaning, tipping. Keeping the chest turned to the side. Inhale, breath, bring that back up. Turn, turn, lean, tip, hold, and then back up nice and tall. Turn your toes, and then you get to fold down through the center. If you want to reach for a block, bring that to the middle of your stance and hang here just for a breath or two. Let your body really give into this shape. Chest falling down towards the earth, arms maybe extended, heels planted, hips pushing slightly backwards. Just breathe, my friends. If you want to add a twist, you can keep your left hand on the block or on the floor. Open that right hand to the ceiling. Give yourself a nice twisted shape. Maybe that hand comes back down to a block or to the floor, and we open to the other side. Exhale, bring hands back down to block, and then half lift. Exhale, fold. Either rolling up one vertebra at a time or stand up strong. And just let everything heal. So back to the middle of your mat. All right, friends, let's take one more full sun salutation before we move to the floor. So take a step back up here to the front of the mat. Settling into that tall mountain pose. Inhale, breath, hands reach up. Exhale, take your time, hinge and fold. Inhale, move up halfway. Exhale, fold. Feet step back, high plank, or plank on your knees, depending on where you are today. Exhale, ease your way down to your belly, or maybe an up dog shape. Transition yourself through your knees to your final down dog of the practice. So let this dog have some space. Maybe one foot lifts and bends the knee. Maybe the other foot lifts and bends the knee. All right, my friends, knees drop down into mat. Separate the knees as wide as the mat. Let the toes come to touch. Sit your hips back towards those heels. Maybe reach for a block. Let your arms stretch out long in front. Head is heavy down through the middle. Breath is steady. And intentional. You might have to kind of think about your breath right here, and that's okay. Sometimes when you go from such an active practice to really slowing down, we do have to reconnect. Remind ourselves to be present and connected to that inhale and exhale. I'm hopeful that you can't hear the little feet running through my house, but their 8:45 alarm probably just went off, that they're supposed to be getting ready to start school. So they're taking off, running through the house. I know someday I will definitely miss that pitter-patter running feet through my house. All right, when you are ready, starting to bring your chest up off the earth, walking those hands to the center of the mat. Let's just move to our back. Remember I told you that a strap would be helpful today? Let's go ahead and reach for that. Decide which direction you're going to be most comfortable as you head to your back. If you have a blanket in your space or a towel, you want to use that, kind of a pillow here or something to put underneath your hips, feel free. If you have a bolster handy and you want to keep that nearby for Savasana, that's always a good idea too. But just head back, put your right foot up, put that strap or kitchen towel, necktie, scarf, whatever you got around the bottom of that foot. And then just decide how your grip feels best. Sometimes I like to do a little wrap where I stick my hand in, wrap that around my hand, and then I've got a good secure wrap. I like to drop those shoulders down to my ears and just really settle into the shape. Now I'm going to give you the option, of course, if you want to bring this foot out to the side and you've got space, you're certainly welcome to, but today I'm really just going to focus on my hamstring. So if that feels good to you, to kind of soften this a little bit and then maybe pull the toes slightly towards your face, maybe soften a little bit. Just pay attention to what feels like stretch and what feels like pain. There is definitely a difference, and we need to be aware of that. I'm never asking you to feel pain. Stretch is acceptable, but I'm never asking you to feel pain. All right, friends, take your time to switch out of that foot lifted. Maybe you switch in midair, or you can bring the foot down to the ground and redecide how this feels. You've probably noticed I have the opposite knee bent. Placing that foot down on the floor is kind of like an anchor for me. That really does feel best. Some will choose to let this leg go long. Maybe that feels good to you. Actually, having my bolster there to put my foot on is a nice compromise. I'm really letting that foot fall all the way to the earth. If you do have a dedicated home practice and you've been doing these videos with us for a while from home, if you haven't yet invested in a bolster, I do think that would be a really great investment. It's a little bit different than just using a couch pillow or a bed pillow. It's much denser. I don't currently sell those in the studio, but you can find them online. If you're interested, just reach out to me anytime. I'd be happy to send you some suggestions. But just let the back side of the leg really get a nice stretch. Softening the knee at any time you might feel like you need to, getting kind of looser in your grip with your hands. All right, my friends. My final suggestion to you with this strap is going to be to invite both feet up into the air. And then I'm going to separate my feet at least as wide as my hips. I don't know if you can see my feet, but they're pretty wide apart because I'm going to take this to something that kind of looks like Happy Baby, but just not quite as intense for your hips. So your feet get wide, you kind of just hold onto that strap and you rock a little bit on your low back. If that's not doing enough for you, you certainly can let go of the strap, reach up and grab those big toes or grab around the outer edges of the feet. But I sometimes just kind of like to feel a little playful here. My feet are up in the sky. I'm getting the wonderful benefits of an inversion, but it's more playful. Feels a little less, risky when I have this strap to help support my movement here. So just decide what feels good to you. Maybe it's just feet still, and you just kind of play with your hinging hips or your lower abdominals, whatever. Because the minute that we stop being playful in our practice, the minute we stop really exploring what our body is capable of and what feels good in our body, gosh, the minute I feel like it stops really being what yoga is about. For sure, it's great if we can make these picture perfect poses and have the alignment of a superstar, but that's not at all what yoga is really about. It's about being inside our own bodies, experiencing the poses the way our bodies are made, and sometimes even forgetting about the poses entirely and letting our mind and our breath do the work. So soften those knees whenever it feels like it might be time to do so. Maybe you hug them close or you give them a little space. Some of you, I can even see you're kind of crisscrossing your ankles if that feels good. Maybe you've even taken a figure 4, but you are finished with your straps. You can set it over to the side. Take whatever remaining poses feel like maybe they've been left out today. Because we only have 45 minutes together. I never want us to miss out on the final cycle of our process here. Sometimes I like to think about a yoga practice like doing laundry. Like the beginning stages are kind of that easy sorting. Take your pile of laundry and maybe separate your darks and your lights, your good emotions from your not so great ones maybe. And then you throw it in the wash. And if you ever wash clothes in a washing machine, you notice that it doesn't always start on its fastest cycle, right? Kind of test things out, make sure the door is locked. all those good things. Water starts to come in, we add the soap, the washing starts to happen. And that's our physical movement in the practice. We're really just kind of cleansing our bodies, detoxing, letting go things we don't need, just like our clothes becoming clean. But as much as we love to just clean our clothes, right? We can't just take soaking wet clothes out of the laundry. We have to give them a space to dry. So all the cleansing has happened now. Now it's time to let everything settle back into place. So whether you want to extend your legs long down the mat, or you want to invite in some sort of helper like a bolster underneath the knees, or a pillow underneath the head, maybe you even want to lay on your side, curl up in a little ball, maybe even grab a blanket and just get quiet for a few minutes. That's okay too. For this final drying cycle, you can imagine maybe a beautiful day like those of us doing this live are experiencing today. Maybe you can even see your clothes, or just a beautiful white sheet hanging on a clothesline. Maybe you watch as the gentle breeze blows that sheet in the wind. Watching as the sun's rays bounce off the white, crisp fabric. Knowing that that piece of material is free just to blow in the breeze. Maybe you can hear the birds, smell the grass, or the spring flowers starting to show themselves coming up out of the soil. Knowing that you can create any beautiful space you need to step away from any darkness in the world. You can find that beautiful space. Close your eyes. Connect with your breath. Just take a few moments. The natural world is full of beauty that's easy for our body to appreciate. So with your eyes closed, spend the next few moments of today's practice with one thing on your to-do list: breathing. No more worry about the perfect pose or whether you're keeping up or how something feels. All you're supposed to be doing right now is just letting it settle back into place. In my opinion, the most important part of our practice. Slowly beginning to become aware of your breath. Allowing a little bit of movement back into the body. Maybe it's wiggling fingers or toes. Or maybe you're like me, you've brought your knees to chest and you're ready to roll to rest on one side or the other. Hands might come to ground when you feel ready to push you back up to a tall seat. Feel free to reach for a prop to sit on if you'd like, a block, a bolster, pillow from the couch. The spine grows tall, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And we connect one more time to our reading. Today's was entitled, Integrity is What You Do When No One is Looking. To practice yoga, telling the truth is not enough. We need to practice not lying. Today, live with integrity by not lying to yourself about one important thing in your life. Integrity is what you do when no one is looking. Today's reading came from the book, A Year of Living Your Yoga, Daily Practices to Shape Your Life by Judith Lassner. I greatly appreciate you taking this time for yourself. Goodness, not only for your physical body, but just letting everything else have a chance to sift and settle back into place. Hope to see you back on the mat again very soon. Thank you again. Namaste.